All things produce after their own kind. You're making a kind in your mind, in the mind of imagination, you doing, being, and having. That's what you're doing. And if you're doing it often enough, you're creating that very thing by your choice. Choose this day. That's what we're all given from childhood. But you're conditioned out of your mind, and you have to get back in your mind, not in the sense that you're claiming what you're not. You're claiming what you are, not what you're not. And that's what people are doing. They're complaining about things, complaining about things, complaining about things. Whining and crying. That's not a prayer. I mean, you'll get the answer of it, and you'll get the trade-off and the ramifications of it, but that's not really a prayer, but it will be answered because you ask. You see, your say is a valid say, and every word is taken into culmination to make up your life. So why not make them lovely and of good report, right?
I agree. You know, you said earlier that we're all living out roles. The problem is with many of us, we've so brought into the role that we're playing that we think that it's solidified and that there's no other role that we can play. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It is. Yes. Yeah. You're thoroughly conditioned to what it is you're doing and being and having. But if it's not making you happy, well, then it's all you have to do is think about it in a different way, in a different idea, a different situation. You're making your world moment by moment. Are you doing a good job? That's all you have to ask yourself. Am I doing a good job at this? If I'm not, why not? You know, you're told if a man would order his conversations aright, he would be shown salvation. And salvation, the answer is solutions. What is it? What are you looking for? Because that's what's looking for you. But you have to have the right feeling about it. And you can create the right feeling about it by feeling it. You're given choose. That's the secret. You're given to choose. Choose better than the best yet, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You know, you're talking about feelings, and we're told that feelings are nothing more than chemical and electrical impulses within the body. So we could direct those feelings, those chemical impulses, any direction that we want. We don't have to own the ones that we've held previously. Would you agree?
That's right. That's right. In other words, your body is taking its marching orders from you. It hears everything you think and feel, and it acts accordingly. The body is also intelligent because it'll operate even under the poorest of conditions. And in many cases, that's the way it does operate in very poor conditions. Because we're not mindful of it. And then when it hurts, then we whine about it. It's always up to you. I will do this, I will not do this. And all you're asked to do is to imagine better than the best yet. Think only on things that are lovely and of good report. I say that because I don't want to lead anybody to do something they didn't plan on doing. In other words, I don't want to give you any ideas. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to tell you that you should examine what you are thinking, because that is making up your world of experiencing. And you can change your mind, change your world. God told you to do so, so therefore you can do so, and you actually are doing so, whether you're aware or not. And that's what all these talks are about, is to get you to be aware of what you're thinking feelingly about most of the time. Is that not it?
That's exactly what the talks are about. You know, you said earlier, you said if the individual would take hold of just one ideal, it could transform their life. Would you agree?
Right. That's right. Because it's all one. And if you get any piece of it, you got it. As long as you hang on to it. You're in charge, okay? And you're in control even if you're out of control. In other words, if you're thinking nonsense, you experience that nonsense. If you're experiencing and thinking about lovely and a good report, then that's what you're experiencing because you're thinking ahead of your evidence. So you're in charge even if you're out of control. The idea is to get in control. Get a hold of your own mind and direct it. That's what you're here to be, a better director of your own mind. Direct it. You're given to do so. God gave you the go-ahead. Choose this day. Choose what you'll think and feel, and then you'll know exactly what your future is. Wouldn't you say?
I would say, and for the person that's listening and saying, well, but you guys are not telling me. No, he says, get a hold of what it is that you're thinking about and begin to redirect it. You redirect it by changing your thoughts and changing your world. Now, I know that some of you think that that's so simple, but in the simplicity is the message. This is how all change takes place. Would you agree?
Yes. Look, if you're leaving a message for 7 billion people, wouldn't you make it something that a child would understand? I mean, think about it. How has he told you? Think only on things lovely and of good report. Very, very simple. Think upon what it is you desire to do, to be, to have, and see yourself in imagination doing those things and enjoying them. That's what you're here to do, to direct your thinking and feeling in accordance to what you desire, because what you desire is what you're experiencing, if that's what you're seeing yourself doing and being and having, because you were told to do so. Just do so and see what the results are. I mean, it's got to be better than what you've been thinking because you don't like it. It's so simple that it's elusive because it's so simple. Wouldn't you say?
I would. You said, think about what it is that you want. See yourself in imagination, then carry it out by doing the action. Act, seek, and knock. For those who need the how-to, this is what you got to do. And this is what we do anyway. This is how we live our life. So what we're not doing is giving you some new, antiquated, thought-out principles. This is how we live. We think about what it is that we want to do for today. We see ourselves doing that thing, and then we go about doing it. This is how all manifestation takes place. We're just asking you to think more collectively on what it is that you want to manifest. Would you agree?
That's it. As you think, you are. Check on what you're thinking. What are you thinking about? How do you see yourself? How are you judging yourself? So, it says, blessed is the man that does not condemn himself for that which he has allowed. You just got left off the hook. You understand? You got yourself off the hook right there. Start a new life. You can start a new life in a moment. Now is the appointed hour. You're told, choose this day. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but it is always this day. So you're always on, you're always choosing, but choosing what? That's the question. What? Isn't that it?
It is the question. I want to go back to what you said because it's important. Blessed is the man, the woman who does not condemn themselves, forgives themselves for the things that they've allowed. If you've made a mistake even a moment ago, forgive yourself and move on. Would you agree?
That's right. You're on all the time. So what are you doing? See, if you know what you're doing all the time, then you know your future. If you don't know what you're doing, then it's all a blur. You don't know what you're going to be doing. Oh, you might say, well, yeah, I got this job. but look, you were not put here to be laborious like a donkey. You were put here to direct your own inner conversations, because that is your life. That's what you're experiencing and will continue to experience as long as you hold the same state of mind. But as you change your mind, you change your world. But it's not you changing it. You're only changing your mind. God is backing you up on anything you think, lovely or not, because he gave you whatsoever to choose from. And that's it. It's a potential, because you have to show up and claim it. But you are showing up and you are claiming the things that you don't want. Because if you're whining and crying about them, that means you feel that's what you have. And if you feel that's what you have, subconscious mind is not going to question you. It's just going to make your world in accordance to as you think you are. Isn't that the story?
That is the story. And I like that you said that change mind is a change perspective. The world is constantly being molded by each and every one of us. It's being molded by our perspective of the world. So when you change your mind, your perspective of the world change. So, of course, your lifestyle, the things in your world, the things that you're manifesting also begins to change. Would you agree?
Well, there's always change. I mean, everybody understands there's always going to be change. But you're given choose what the change will be. Right? You're given choose. Choose it. Choose what the change will be. And then you should be happy. Because you're given. Worshiping God, we're told, is using his gifts. And he gave you these gifts. For what? So you can stack it away and put it away somewhere? You're using the power, because there is only one power. And that's what you're using. You can do anything you can imagine, if you really believe what you imagine. And that's all there is to it. Believing is receiving. What are you believing? Because whatever you're believing, and you are believing a lot of things, believe me, just stop and sit down and think what it is you believe. And if you don't scare yourself, that'll be something. But it is always as you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. You're a thinking, feeling being. Religious or not religious, you're a thinking, feeling being. And as you think, you are. That's it, isn't it?
It is it. So in short, the world takes form according to our image or imagination of it, correct?
Yes. And even if it doesn't seem to change for anybody else, it does for you. See, that's the point. The point is that there's no two alike. There's not another you. You're the only one. As a matter of fact, because you are the only one like you. And as you think, you are. That's the whole story, right there. You are what you think you are. Believing is receiving, and you are receiving what you're believing. Ask yourself, what do you believe? Isn't that the question?
It is the question. And I like to contemplate the world as a world of abundance, because, of course, we know that with God, there is no lack. So if we begin to see a world of abundance, we'll begin to experience a world of abundance. Would you agree?
That's it. As you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. It's that simple. It couldn't be pronounced that simple to the general population, because it would be argued and argued and argued. They'd be debating, and it turns up nothing. It's up to the individual. Go in the closet, close the door. When you're alone, speak to your Father which is in heaven. If you're alone and you can speak to your Father which is in heaven, where are you? Where are you? Speak to your Father. That's what you're given to do. And who gave you that? Jesus told you to do that. Why wouldn't you? That's the answer to everything you want. I mean, you're talking to God, and He tells you, talk to me. Well, talk to Him. Tell Him what you want. Believe that He exists. You must believe that God exists. Not out there, but in here, in you. I am with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresence. What more do you need to know? Isn't that it?
That is it. And it goes on to say, believe that He exists and that He's a rewarder of those who believe in Him. Now, somebody had put out in the YouTube channel, imaginary friend, God being the imaginary friend. For that person, God says His name is I am. So if God's the imaginary friend, then so are you. Because every time you say I am, you're acknowledging the name of God. Would you agree?
That's right. That's right. That's what makes your say valid. Because He gave you, choose this day. And as I said, it's always this day. It's never a yesterday or a tomorrow. It's always this day. And this is the day you do your choosing. Because it has to start somewhere. You have to get started. And you get started when you decide today is the day. This is the hour of desired change. And everybody wants to have desired change. That's what you're given to do, to have desired change. All you have to do is imagine that you're having the desired change in mind, in imagination, in the theater of mind. You do your act out and be an actor, no more just a reactor. Be an actor in it and play the part to the hilt. Every detail that you can think of, have it in that imaginal activity. That's what you're told. You're told to dress your world, and that's what you're doing. You're dressing your world with things and ideas and attitudes, and you're given to do so. Do so. What's holding you back? See, that's it. What's holding you back? Self-denial. That's what's holding you back. Stop denying yourself. God made you. You didn't make you. So you're off the hook there. Wouldn't you say?
I would say, you said, and what's stopping them? And I believe that what's stopping them is that people can hear these truths, but because of, again, earlier programming, self-program, self-denial, they don't believe that it applies to them.
Yeah, I know. They're not worthy.
Absolutely.
But thank God, worthiness doesn't have anything to do with it, because no one is worthy. You're told right there in Scripture, not one is worthy. So get over it. You're not worthy. But it isn't about worthy. It's about willing. Are you willing to understand? Can you act in faith, not knowing, but wanting? And the wanting brings you more wanting until you actually move in and start thinking from I am that, your ideal, your dream, your mission, your goal. I am that. You think from that, seeing yourself doing, being, and having your ideal, and you shall have it. I didn't say that. God said that. That was God's promise to you. And all you have to do is do your part. Show up. Isn't that it?
But is it? And I like that Neville would often say, this is not the condition, being right with God is not a condition of, doing the right things. It's the consequences of being a child of God. Would you agree?
That's absolutely. Look, understand, if God made you, I don't think He makes duds. Do you?
I don't.
Well, then you're made to operate and you are operating, but you're also the one deciding what you think and feel. And you're told that as you think and feel, you are, you do, you have, you be. But you're given, change your mind, change your world. It's really that simple if you'll remember it, and you'll remember it if you keep it simple. You can complicate it very easily. I know I used to do that, get a good idea and just complicate it into dust. But examine it into dust, because you don't know, but you're given to know. And the way you get what you're supposed to know is that you sit in the silence. Be still and know that I'm God. And once you know who God is, everything else falls into place, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And it uncomplicates things. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It does uncomplicate your life. It does give you relief, and relief that it's beyond any relief that you've ever experienced, I assure you. And you'll be the first one to say so. The relief of knowing that you know, and you're given to know. You turn to me, I'll turn to you. You deny me, I will deny you also. Because as Jesus told you, it's only the one turning. If you don't turn, there's nothing to turn to. That's it. Attitude awareness, imaginational control, that's what you're seeking for. The control of your imagination. Seeing yourself enjoying life rather than hassling it. Wouldn't you say?
I would say. And, it's really certainly a wonderful thing, because what you come to the realization of is that it's not based off, Mr. Lindell will say it all the time, no one's worthy. And people kind of take offense to that because they want to feel like they're worthy. But if you understand that no one's worthy, that this is not about worthiness, even if you have a bad day, the principles, God is working in you, because it's not based off of your bad day, But when we think that it's based off of worthiness, then we say, well, I just wasn't really spiritual today, so I'm really not feeling. It doesn't matter how you feel at any given day. You're still a part of the oneness known as God. Would you agree?
That's it. And that's all you need to lean to. You turn to me and I'll turn to you. I can't imagine what would be your problem if you turn to God, especially since he gave you the invitation to do so, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, well, what are you waiting for? It tells you now is the appointed hour, and it's always now. So you can do it at any moment. Turn. Do so. See so. For yourself so. Isn't that it?
It is it. It is it. Now, some people will wonder, because again, I'm playing the advocate here, what does it mean to turn to God?
Talk to him. I mean, if I'm talking to you, I turn to you, right? I mean, I'm not turning to you right now, but I'm looking at you on the phone. No, that's it. Look, there's only God. So you couldn't not talk to God. But he tells you, I suffer with you, but you behold me not. He's suffering with you because he's allowing you to do the choosing, and he's backing it up. So what are you choosing? Lovely and a good report, or yeah?
Most people are probably choosing blah.
Yeah. Actually, that's the only expression I'm allowed to say. Yeah. Well, you talk to most people, and generally, what are you talking about? The things that are happening around you at the moment, is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the better life that you could be living if you would just change your mind to change your world? And what you're changing from, believe me, once you see what you're changing from, it'll be laughable. It really will be. The fact that it was so simple. It says he laughs. It says God laughs. He laughs at how simple it was, but he didn't get it. And that's what we don't do. We don't get it. He's telling you, look, I love you just the way you are. Well, then what is there to change? You probably couldn't change that much anyway. But the idea is that you're willing. That's all it's there. You have to be willing. You have to show up. And that's all you have to do. Be still and know that I'm God. You have to show up. That's the main thing. You have to show up. Wouldn't you say?
I would, and being still and knowing, that's in part the turning. When we become aware of our own inner conversation, we're on the path. Would you agree?
Yeah. When you finish shaking, you got to shake it off. Look, running off scenarios of gloom and doom are not really helping your case at all, would you say?
I would say.
I mean, come on. If you're running that, you're praying ceaselessly. So when you're running off these little scenarios of gloom and doom, that's what you're asking for. Because what you're feeling at the moment is what subconscious mind is reproducing your world of experience from. Remember, it's all coming through you, not to you. So if you're looking on the without for any help at all, you're looking in the wrong place. It is within, nearer than hands and feet. All the help you need is nearer than hands and feet. Why not look there first, wouldn't you say?
I would say, and you're speaking about the calling off the scenarios of doom and gloom. I would challenge each person for the next 7 days to be mindful of your own inner conversation. Watch your mental diet. What is it that you're saying to yourself? And is it truly lovely and of good report, or in the contrary direction? Just be mindful of what it is that you're thinking about the next 7 days. Would you agree?
7 days? Wow. What about 7 minutes?
I wanted to at least give it to sound like a challenge. And you're truly, absolutely correct that even in the next 7 seconds, we're not mindful. So 7 minutes, 7 days, 7 hours.
I was thinking of your book, 7 seconds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it really takes that long to change your thought and begin changing your world. Would you agree?
It's are you sincere? I mean, just ask yourself, are you sincere in what you're thinking and feeling? If you're not, stop it and go enjoy yourself. Because you're getting nowhere. You have to really believe what you, and that is usually the sticking point, is believing. But, if you would realize you're only thinking about believing things that are beyond you, but you believe an awful lot of things that would not be in your world if you hadn't have thought of them, right?
Absolutely.
So you have all these things, all these ideas. Just sit and think of all the things you actually believe. And why can't you just add this one to it? Because it tells you that as you think, you are. Think differently. It's that simple. Look, we're not trying to tell anybody about how to be religious. We're telling you how to think. Not what to think, but how to think. And it's the difference that makes the difference, isn't it?
It is a difference.
Sometimes you got to shut out the world. And one of the tools that we offer in doing that is Mr. Lindell's 4 CD set. You can get those as a digital download, or you can get those as a physical copy if you're here in the U.S. Go to Metaphysical Art Theater and order your 4 CD set. These CDs are meditative in nature. You're to listen to them and get the words that's being spoken in your spirit until they become your words. And as that takes place, you'll begin to see your world transform.
So now the question is, in speaking to the listener as we're closing down, feel after him. What would you say in closing?
Well, all I can tell you is that God is you because he's all things to all. Just enjoy him. Just use his gifts that he's already given you. I mean, you can start with just breathing and go right on up from there. These are all gifts of God that he's already given you, but you have to show up to claim them. Isn't that right?
It's absolutely correct. Yes.
Right. You got to claim it. And if you don't claim it, it goes unclaimed. So that means you're not satisfied. And you're meant to be satisfied. And you're given to be satisfied. They themselves are makers of themselves. Do a better job, wouldn't you say?
I would say. Sir, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Always is. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.